Yeah, he's already gone way past his soup allowance for this
Hey,
one.
hey there. Welcome to Jarviskjir, a Mother's Love. Just to tell you, Scott said that he was waiting for his soup to load. It was such a weird thing. I can't get over it.
Jarviskjir memes.
Hey, we're live. What's up? How are you doing, Scott? How's that soup?
My soup is hot. It's hot. I can't eat it. It's too hot.
Double-edged sword, right? I just realized I didn't transition. It was just voices. It was just voices in the dark.
They just heard this voices in the dark. That's the Lord of the Rings soundtrack right there.
Probably. Hey.
It is.
I'm a little rusty. And these are my friends. We're gonna play some DnD. How is everybody? Soup.
Annoyed because I can't get my shit to pop up.
Is that related to soup? I don't know.
You want it to pop out?
Related to his life.
Croutons.
I am good. I know where Ian lives now, and I'm gonna stalk him. He also apparently has got a lot of Amazon deliveries recently.
Those are the new computer or parts of it.
Yeah, Ian's getting a new computer.
Exciting. I mean, how fortuitous that I just so happened to find out where Ian lives at the same time he's got new computer parts just laying around.
I did not consider this.
Everyone's messed up. No.
Oh yeah, I'm under veil.
I actually deliberately changed this.
Scott
Alright.
Un momento.
Scott's right. Scott's right.
Scott's right.
It's funny. In my streams, Ollie is the only one that's always correct, unless I personally screw it up.
I
He's always
spent
right.
like actually a significant amount of time making this right, and
fine.
maybe
It's fine.
I'm just stupid.
I
Is
can
the
do
answer?
Gil.
Maybe I was
can
just
do
putting
Gil.
people in the wrong
Dean,
place.
give us your best melody voice.
Melody.
That's pretty good.
Gil'win, the sad bard with parent issues.
And I'm
Funny
the
you
cocky
should say
elven
that.
bastard who stabs people with a rapier.
Funny you should say parent issues, because welcome to Jarviskjir, a Mother's Love! Hey! We run a professional show here at twitch.tv/olirant, and it's a show where we play D&D in a world made by me. And I think it's a sight to see. Would you
Is this gonna keep
believe
going?
it? There we go. I
You
want
should
to.
have rhymed that. You should have rhymed that.
I
I think it's a sight to see for you and me.
How did I not? I do that one all the time. How did I not go there? Anyway, hey, this is a brand new season. Some new characters, some old
One new
characters, new story, and as they explore Jarviskjir, my homebrew world, there's being changed by the other adventures that are going on in it, and all that fun stuff. So, what happened in the last season? Where are we starting off? Well, the game starts with the group of adventurers, Erevel Valanar, Gil'win Gallagher, and Melody.
Valanair.
Valanar. I always say Valanar.
Racist.
What are you doing?
Just showing off my bumblebee.
Stop derailing.
Yeah.
Please.
Look
Alright,
how
anyway.
happy that little boy is, though.
Stop. You're breaking my brain, dude.
Who's breaking your brain?
Neil, obviously.
Usually.
It starts off with them leaving the city of Lichvale. They just basically saved the city. There was a cult that worshipped the god of death under the city, and Gil'win saved the day. And it's not even, the rest of them got coin, but he's the one who gets the credit. Straight up, songs are being sung about him. The city sees him as a hero. Yeah, the others maybe. And while they were celebrating that, and actually after the Vale and Gil'win, who are good friends, went on a little small adventure, Gil'win received a letter from his father, and is now going back to his home city of Goldport, a huge human metropolis, to deal with the contents of that letter.
Dealing with daddy.
Dealing with daddy. So this campaign begins with them traveling. Lichvale to Goldport is not that hard of a journey, although it is wintertime. It is the Ivory month, which is this world's equivalent of December. Sometimes you're traveling through snow and you've got long roads to go down. Real quick, I'm just gonna summarize. Gil'win Gallagher is a bard. He's a bard who has at this point some degree of fame. His song is actually one of those people where a lot of people know his songs, but not many people know him. But he is a bard of some degree of fame and some degree of fighting prowess, and as you were traveling from Lichvale to Goldport, it's human lands. So you follow a road that is good enough. It's not the best road in the world, and there's farming towns and villages all around, and you often would stop in them. And Gil'win would play enough of a tune that you get enough money to stay in the tavern, and the words of your exploits and of saving the city of Lichvale, of you being the hero of Lichvale is spreaded, and then you the further away you get, the less people care, of course. But that's sort of what you're doing. Vale, who is pissed the fuck off, is Gil'win's trusty old friend who they've been together for over a year now, which to an elf is a blink of an eye. He's a sun elf. And he's a swashbuckler who's honestly trying to figure out his place in the world right now. He keeps trying new things, and
is that why we lost him? Is that why why he's not here?
Yeah, he's finding himself out. He needs to take that gap year to explore his soul, do some soul searching. He's really trying to. It's just the best way to describe it, because he's sort of tried several different things to find out what he is, and I think. When they spent a lot of downtime after their victory at Lichvale was extremely hard fought, fighting monsters of shadow and undead creatures and abominations. They spent a long time relaxing, and then they figured out that sort of going on these adventures is what they wanted to do. And so they've head off on one together. And then with them is Melody. Melody is a human woman who, rules-wise, is a druid, but is more this wild woman. More this wild woman who gains her powers from a fae spirit that basically lives on her shoulders, who has been very much enjoying the travel, I believe. You're going through vast countryside. It's not really at harvest time of year or there are any crops, but it's still nice to travel with Gil, playing songs together when you can. And let's not forget that Melody has a pet now. Melody's dog, Tune. Ignore the fact that Melody's dog has 2 heads and drools something it's not really an acid, but it does bubble, and it's black and...
Perfectly normal doggo.
Perfectly normal doggo, who is very affectionate, and you've been enjoying that adventure, and you two have been traveling with your horses. Have we lost Neil? Or is he just staying very still?
No eyes moving. We lost him.
We lost him. Rip. Whatever. He's just an elf. They stay still, very still. You've been traveling with your horses, but I imagine it's the sort of thing where you're not going at horse pace. You're more using the horses to carry more equipment, and Melody doesn't ride a horse, even though she can kind of become a horse.
Oh no! Oh.
Rip. Now everyone's gonna
he's
get
really
fucked.
enjoying that tea.
That's what I thought. I was like, is this a joke, or is this... Right, we run a professional show here at twitch.tv/olirant.
How much can we fuck up the new season within the first 15 minutes is the question.
Alright, everything's wrong. You know what? Screw it. We're just going to stay on Abomination screen for a bit.
His internet just died, apparently.
Good. You know what? He's dead to me. And also they had other friends. They had their friend Sid, who stayed in Lichvale and eventually trailed off home, and their friend Amelia, who is intending to... Well, look who came crawling back. And their friend Amelia, who wants to help Gil'win on this journey, as they know it's a very emotional journey with Gil'win's parents, but had to go and spend some time. She had to go back home to Bastillion, also known as the City of Magic, quite a ways away, for reasons that she didn't entirely explain.
Let's be honest, Erin just was like, wait, hold on. We need to go, I need my character to go somewhere where I can actually buy scrolls. So fuck off this campaign for a little while. I'll come back with more spells in a few sessions.
It's important to
season.
note, while I'm doing this incredibly long and rambling and disjointed roundup, that Goldport, when we last left it, I don't think it's ever been shown on this stream or it's shown in a side quest, is a human-centric city, human kingdom, that is incredibly racist and actually has witch hunts that were just killing all the mages in the city and the lands. So you've been traveling in that direction for around about 3 weeks. At this point, you're at Goldport, but you're not in the city itself. Like, a lot of human cities and even large towns are walled off, guarded, and then have these satellite farms all around. And actually, while you're traveling down the roads, and the roads get higher quality as you get into this sort of satellite farming community, you notice that even though it's winter, you're not dealing with snow a lot so far. It's just sort of thing when you camp, you know, there's a layer of frost over everything, but the sun is currently strong enough to take care of it most of the time. There's actually some crops that are still blooming. There's still some farming going on, which doesn't necessarily make sense to everyone aside from Gil'win, who wouldn't actually see that as anything strange, coming from Goldport, growing up in this city. So you're approaching. You're currently traveling through one of those satellite towns. It's one of those things where you're a group of travelers, and you're actually quite clearly adventurers. Vale has many weapons strapped all over him, and Melody just kind of looks like some sort of nomad. Gil'win's one of the people who just looks a bit mostly normal, but when you're like, oh, you're a traveling musician, that's not uncommon. Of course, the dog does raise a lot of questions, but you've not really got into trouble about the dog so far. So you're traveling into one of those satellite towns, and at this point, you can see the city walls of Goldport. And it's one of those things where Goldport's such a big city that these satellite communities are also really big. They have general stores, they have taverns, they have a lot of shady individuals who maybe can't get into the city, or maybe are trying to help people get into the city who can't normally. All those sort of things. I have to ask. Well, I have to ask first of all, what's going through everyone's mind while you're traveling? It's been 3 weeks since you received the letter, and it's a fairly reasonable journey. It's always a little slower travel in wintertime, but what's on your mind? And bear in mind, it's been several months since the end of Season 2, since the adventure in Lichvale.
Fearful relief, I guess, that I've reached Goldport, knowing what's inside, or assuming what's inside.
Anyone else? Vale, what do you?
I feel like this would be one of those things where, because obviously any campaign that has D in it has to be a musical. I imagine it's one of those things where he's like on a hill. It's dawn. He sees like the light shining off in the distance off of Goldport, the glimmer in the water, and he's like, so many emotions, so many feelings welling up inside. I don't know what to do. I don't know if I can hide. You know, like just kind of like busts out into song, and it's like, you know, the animals dancing in the background, like a fucking Disney movie or some shit.
A duet with Vale.
No, Vale. The scene would end, like the song would end with Vale just sitting there, just woke up, rolling out of his tent. I know elves don't sleep. Just
Vale is like tent, the closest to sleeping like anyone else does.
And like, I haven't even had coffee yet.
Dude,
sorry,
come on.
Sorry.
Vale, so he's still a little bit salty about the fact that Gil'win got the biggest amount of praise for Lichvale. As of course, I mean, these guys, they're alright in a fight, but they've not got the grace, the skill, the finesse, the elven fluidity. And yet, Gil got the most praise. Gil did save his life, perhaps, sort of. Still not entirely sure what happened down there with that little bit of golden glowiness, shall we say. So a lot of the time on this journey, he'd be practicing with his weapons. generally keeping them in nice tip-top condition, and I think he probably would have made a bit more effort to talk to Melody. As obviously he's not really too bothered by now, but at the start he probably would have been a bit sulky towards Gil about not getting the credit.
It's one of those things where you were mad, but bear in mind, like, it's been like 4 months since that,
yeah,
so
exactly.
that was already
and
gone.
It's not like Gil's fault or anything as well. He was just sulky and pouty about it.
You just get upset when like a friend is more successful with you than you. I get it all the time with Scott.
Yeah,
you know, it's...
he just inadvertently, whatever say
I do
he's
get upset with you.
whittling a little bit of
Every time you post a
wood.
picture of art, if only I could draw a stick figure.
And he just he wouldn't necessarily go and talk to Melody at first, but he'd just whittling something out of wood. He'd just go and end up sitting next to Melody, because Melody tends to be quite quiet when she's not bustling about doing her things. And then perhaps just interacting with Melody a little bit more in terms of just oh, what's that you're doing there? Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, I can show you how to whittle wood. Yeah, it's really simple. Yeah, you know what you're doing with a blade.
It's one of those things. It's just the 3 of you adventuring right now. So
because
not?
Exactly, and by Vale's terms as well. Remember, Melody still hadn't been in the group for very long.
Yeah,
the fact that he took a shine to Gil so quick was, in terms of, even for a young elf, is fairly fast. He
the fact that you're this good friends with him after a year, is crazy.
Obviously he's a young elf, so that helps a lot. But in human terms, that's like meeting someone on the first day and being like, oh yeah, we're friends. First time you meet, you're like, yeah, we're gonna get on. And then
exactly.
Yeah. So he's getting more used to the presence of having Melody around permanently, or for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Your Melody's part of the gang to Vale.
Yeah.
How does Melody take this?
Melody, Melody is being very Melody, or actually maybe a little bit less Melody. She's getting a bit more used to being back in civilization. She's able to communicate a little bit better now. She's enjoying that. She's generally quite happy to be traveling with Gil, and increasingly she's getting used to Vale. Whereas at times she was actually quite hostile to him because he was a bit of a bastard as far as she was concerned, although not in most terms.
I'd say it's probably a bit more mutual respect now.
Yeah. With the 3 weeks of traveling, a bit of time spent together, she's getting a bit more used to him, and she's coming to appreciate him a bit more. And
I imagine you two actually go hunting together when you're
yes,
on the road.
that is something
because
that
Gil can't do it.
And yeah, so Vale will be helping showing how to, as he says, whittle wood, and Melody would be pointing out how best to search for beasts in the wilderness and such, little things like that.
Yay,
but
friendship.
She's generally pretty happy to be traveling with them, and she's also acutely aware that Gil is clearly not very happy about what they're having to do. So she's also spending some time trying to keep his spirits up and make sure he's not too worried and such but for herself, she's generally quite happy with how things are going at the moment.
That's good. All right.
It's not like sorry, just to say real quick, it's not like Gil's been a drag these 3 weeks.
No, but I mean, Melody,
you've known him.
Melody has 20 wisdom.
Yeah, you have such a good connection. You know when Gil is a little down.
Yeah.
Gil's one of those people who's gonna laugh away no matter what.
Yeah.
He has to be in a real bad state.
Dean's like, guys, I'm a little upset. I'm not fucking shitting on the party. Calm down.
No. It's just the people in chat. No.
Yeah.
I didn't have the orb attack me again. Calm down.
All right. So you like I said, you've been traveling for quite some time, and you get very close to Goldport. You see its walls. Goldport is an incredibly old, incredibly big city. You know, in sometimes D&D you have like these city size levels of like, a small town, large town, like a city. This is a metropolis. This is a vast city to the extent that like some districts are basically their own towns, but they're still technically part of the city. You see these vast old walls that are very faded with time. And actually before the wall is about a 2-story ditch that Gil would know, because he was being taught here, and history lessons and stuff, is also as old as the city is, and is actually man-made. Although because it's winter and it's actually raining really heavily right now. It's like a heavy, not quite a rainstorm. It's just heavy rain. It's just mud. It's just a muddy pit, and then there's these bridges that go into the city. Now I have a question for you, as a group. There are main entrances. So the road you went on between Lichvale and Goldport, it's important to remember, despite the fact that you dealt with Lichvale in a very modern way, Lichvale for thousands of years, or 2,000 years or so, was a Goldport city. It was a city in the Kingdom of Goldport. So that road was very old, very well kept. So it directly leads to a main entrance to the city of Goldport. You know, it's a much bigger gate with more room for more people and more guards. Are you okay with trying to enter the city through that gate, or do you want to go and find a smaller entrance? You know, like, it's such a big city, like, you have these big, almost, merchant-designed entrances, and then there are smaller places for, like, oh, there's a town nearby, so there's just, like, a gate with 1 or 2 guards instead of, like, a small group of them, as this one would have.
I feel like, considering Goldport's aversion to magic in the past and knowing who I'm with, I'd probably try and steer us into one of those less guarded entrances.
All right, so it's not really one of those things where it's gonna take you any more time. It's dark because of the rain. It's one of those things. Everyone that you see is either running to a tavern or has a sort of leathery hood on. You go to a smaller entrance that's maybe like a half hour away from the main one you're looking towards.
Yeah.
And is there anything you want to do before you walk up?
Anyone have
Now,
any
we
way of
do
describing-
believe Miss Amelia prepared you a spell for just this occasion.
Can we try that again in English? That's not. Who's that?
Gil'win, I believe Amelia prepared a spell for such an occasion. Something to reduce the detection of magic.
She did. She gave you a fuck. I think it was a scroll. Yeah, it was either a scroll or a potion.
She did what? I thought she was a bit more prude than, than that.
Well, she's not here now, so I can retcon her into whatever I want now.
Into whatever outfit? Whatever position?
I am the artist. No.
Did we ask Aaron?
You guys are gonna be in
Erin
trouble.
is currently watching, I think. She's
Erin-
Are we doing Amelia pinups now? Is that what's going on here?
So let's say you have a scroll, but it's not like, don't imagine like I imagine it's much more like a page of a notepad, because Gil'win knows magic. You don't need to do the entire thing, and it was a spell specifically designed for this situation. Which, if I remember correctly, was... it was a version of a real spell, but basically it just masks all the magic in basically a small person-sized bubble around you. Is the
Something
concept.
like magic aura?
Yeah.
I think it was magic aura, but
is the
there's a
5e
couple of-
version, yeah.
Yeah.
Did she modify it in some way?
No, it's just that because of the way magic works in Jarviskjir, it's not exactly, but it's the same concept.
But it works for more than one person. It works for like a group of people,
does
right?
it? You know what?
Oh, no. Magic aura is one item.
No, this
or
only
person
works
or
for
whatever.
one person, which is why Gil actually has 2 scrolls of it, one for the way in and one for the way out. This is
That's what's
not
asking,
counting
yeah.
for Melody, who, as you know, actually, does Gil'win have detect magic?
Not anymore. Swapped
Yeah,
out.
I think you've done it at some point. You
Yeah.
know that Melody is all magic. She is just her every part of her being is steeped in Feywild. because she's basically becoming a fae. One way
She's
or
a
another.
human teabag.
Yeah.
When your transformation's complete, we'll call you Tina.
Tina Fey.
Ah, okay. Right. I was like, Tina Turner?
Let's move on.
We're turning her into a fae? That's where my brain went. Alright, yeah. So you have 2 of those scrolls.
Okay.
And the reason why I describe it as a bubble, whether it is in the thing or not, is also meant to hide magical objects. And you know it works because months ago, you and Vale actually went to the city to retrieve Forax thing. Forax urn.
Right.
So, you've been through this. I'll also point out that on that adventure, did you get paperwork for you and Vale? You can. It's up to you.
Probably.
Yeah. So you have up-to-date paperwork for you two.
Yes.
You
But not-
you know that yours is fine because you're a
Read
citizen,
these.
and you basically managed to prove away that you were a citizen. You went to someone that used to know you, and that's fine. So you have that. You have basically a little passport, probably in a little slip of leather that
Yeah.
is like
You went to
Gil'win
that
Gallagher,
cat.
musician. Stuff.
Melody is the biggest problem in so many ways.
Thing is Melody. Well, in a human area, in an elven area, actually, Melody doesn't look that weird. In a human area, she looks weird. Bear in mind, there's a heavy rain going on right now, and everyone has their hoods up. So Melody
Aye.
just looks like a very big, strong woman right now, and the dog.
And the dog.
Oh shit, the dog.
The dog has 2
Yeah.
heads, my dudes.
I picked up a 2-headed dog just before we were going to a magic hating city. Do you like me yet?
Yeah.
Well, I guess upon approaching this entrance, then I'd probably have a bell going off in the back of my mind, thinking, "Oh, it's probably time to use this scroll." And then I realised that I only have 2, and 2 of us are magically inclined or magically imbued in some way. But considering I have the paperwork, Melody's new, and Melody's probably a little bit more saturated in the arcane or in Fae, I'd probably give her the scroll.
I'll just you probably use it on her instead of just give it to her to do.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where I think Melody technically can use spell scroll. I have it that any character can try to use a spell scroll. It's just one of those things. It's like any character can code. It's just you don't understand what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
You can try. You can try and jumble it all together. But you cast this spell on her. It's an Amelia spell, so it's very little happens. The only way you can tell it works is that the sort of white ink on this fairly brownish paper just fades. From you didn't even notice it was glowing. You just thought it was very white ink. It just sort of fades into a sort of where you can only just see the symbols in abyssal remaining. So you hope it worked.
And then I turn to the dog.
The dog looks up at you with 2 happy faces. Toon, the Hellhound, loves you. He loves all of you. Like, even Vale, who probably doesn't super love it. Toon is... So, but bear in mind, this dog was horrendously abused and chained up. So, he just has all the love for you guys rescuing him. So he's a very happy doggo. Like, he just looks up at you with like that dopey dog grin with like a tongue hanging out, but there's 2 of them. And they can never quite look directly at you too, which is kind of cute. They're like trying.
Do either of you have any ideas on how to get Toon through?
Getting him through will be a problem.
Yeah, it will be, Melody, because these guys don't really like anything out of the norm. And no offense, Toon, I stroke his heads. You're not the norm.
Yeah, you
Well, like a skilled DJ.
Toon doesn't understand what you're saying. He's just happy. Toon can't speak that language. Toon, I'm fairly sure Toon and Amelia could speak to each other.
Oh my god.
Melody doesn't have any way of hiding June.
I say we just bluff it. It will be fine. Oh yes, he was born with 2 heads. It's a freak of nature. But he's a very good boy. And they'll let us through.
June is a very good boy.
Okay. Sure. That's the best plan we're going to get, I think. So let's do it.
Well, I haven't really got a better plan, no.
Gil,
Unfortunately.
if they threaten Tune, Melody will protect Tune.
Yes, only if they attack June, though. Not
Yes.
if they threaten.
Trust me, Melody. If
Melody
Tune's in
trusts
danger,
you.
I will help.
Thank you.
And then you assume you walk up. Gil'win first, as the human.
Yep.
So you walk up. This is a small gate. It's a double gate, but like one side is just currently locked shut, and the one door is open. There's a small room, like basically in the city walls, that is actually warm and dry, although the floor is just caked in mud from people going back and forth. And there appears to be only one guard stationed here who is. It's sort of one of those things where he's standing but leaning on a desk. The guards of Goldport wear brigandines, sort of a studded leather sort of jerkin that's actually quite tight and restrictive, and they have a little bit more armor than just straight leather armor. A little bit more metal and stuff, and the weapons usually spears, but it occasionally changes. This guy has going to be a warhammer. And as you get up, he sort of gets up as well, and as you walk up, and just sort of walks further forward so that you basically can't get inside the warm space. He just sort of stands in the doorway, and he's a very big guy. Gil'win is incredibly tall and lanky. He's slightly taller than you, but more filled out. And he's wearing almost all the guards wear these leather helmets with a metal faceplate that sort of protects the face. And just like, your papers, please.
Bill, papers. I'll get mine out.
Ah, yes.
Hand it over.
Here you are.
So Vale's paperwork is less detailed than Gil'win's. He looks at Gil'win's and just like nods and hands it back, and looks at Vale's and like, this was some time ago. As a non-citizen, you need a new. These passports are only good for 2 weeks. I'll have to. It's fine. I'll just have to take you to the registry.
Well, while we're doing that, then, could we please register my other friend? And I'll gesture towards Melody.
Kill 2 birds in 1 stone. Yeah. And then he sort of leans over and notices Tune beside Melody, and is like, "What is that?"
It's 2 dogs, but in the womb of their mother, they only grew 1 body. It's a very common thing. We see it in Elven lands a lot, actually. You see, they're very good guard dogs because they generate twice the noise. Hmm?
Give me a
Perfectly harmless.
deception roll.
Well, no more than a couple of dogs.
Yeah. Deceive me. Go ahead. Oh, my dice are set up entirely wrong.
I'm rolling with it.
I've got some very intimate dice right now.
My bad.
No!
Where's my party pool of luck?
All right, so you say all this, and he's like, no, man, that ain't right. I've done some work in farms. I know that things can be born weird, mate, but that gives me. Hold on a minute, and then he goes up to a sconce on the wall, a torch on the wall. It's a sort of metal thing. It's got a little bit of a fancy sort of copper design around it, and picks it up and walks over and as he walks right up to melody and tune, the red fire, the fire-colored fire, turns to a green, and he's like, "Yeah, that dog ain't right. That dog is possessed or something. No, that can't come in."
Well, you see, the reason it shows as possessed is because it possesses two souls, as it is two dogs born into a single body.
Give me a deception, but this will be a disadvantage because you're trying to sort of push the same point. And he's already like, nah. What? How did you get... That's like the worst thing you could have ever got.
It makes me very happy. Neil, thank you. From a viewer perspective.
He actually like just turns and he's like, "Shut up, elf. You knife ears never have anything to say. That thing, the only way it's entering this city is skinned, going to one of the scientists or something. No. You, Gil'win, you can go in. These lot, you can stay in the rain, thanks." And he like walks back around Gil into the little watch.
As he walks off, I'm gonna say, I don't just have knife ears.
Is that an intimidation roll?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
That's right, I didn't do an announcement on the Discord. Rip. Scott, do that. Do that like 40 minutes late.
what do you say, Ollie?
I was tweeting. I was super excited about tweeting.
What do you say to Scott?
Please. That's a really good intimidation roll.
I got lucky.
He's like walking away, and he's putting this lantern back, and actually you notice Gil, it's kind of awkward for him to get it. He has to like actually lean over this desk to put it up there. You know, for something that you've entered the city before, you know, it detects magic.
Yeah.
You think they would have it way easier to get. And he sort of turns around and is like, "Look, are you with the Thieves Guild or something? Is that what this is? Is that what this is all about?"
Let's just say it would be better for both you and me if you were to take us to the registry office. And we had a pleasant evening. After that, we go our separate ways and you don't see us again.
Yeah. Of course, sir. I didn't mean to be rude. He actually starts walking. He actually closes, if you enter, he closes the gate and locks it sort of behind with a key that he has, and starts walking you into the city. Like, well, you know how it is with the new king. You know, there's lots more elves about, and you know, I heard the rumors, and I don't want to be on the other end of an elvish blade. They can cut through the ribbons of the soul themselves. They say I don't want any part of that.
Well, you're doing the right thing then.
So he starts leading you into Goldport. Goldport is a sort of what you'd imagine a fantasy city to be. It has different districts, and each different district is basically a class of the people who work and live there, to the extent of some districts are even more different. But this is through the Bronze District, which is, you know, people who live relatively normal, commoner lives. It is very muddy, old cobblestone, but it's mostly muddy because of all the rain and all the people tracking through. Tight buildings that are either stone or wood, sort of up a side long enough. I know you go past taverns and shops and things, and he walks you towards a tower that is sort of connected to the main wall inside, though it's clearly of a different build. It was built some other time. So he walks you into the registry, and is just like, "You're not gonna have any problems. Just don't worry about it." And then he walks in and is like, these two need travelers' paperwork, and they start getting it done, assuming that you two give your real names. Interestingly, what does Vale give as its profession and Melody? Melody might need some help with the paperwork.
Yeah.
It's not like
Melody
you're writing
would
it. There's a scribe who writes it. You do sign it.
Yeah. I'll let Neil come up with what he's putting on the paperwork first for profession.
Do you allow, let's see, Monster Hunter Extraordinaire?
Monster Hunter can do, yes.
No, it has to be Extraordinaire. What about, Skilled Duelist?
The scribe sort of looks to like the other person at the desk, and then like to the guard, who is, there's a slight rattling of shaking in him. Duelist is fine.
That will have to do then, I suppose.
I'll
Melody would suggest for profession Gil's friend.
She's a herbalist. Had a little bit too much of her own stock.
Like this person leans over with like their glasses. They're a fairly elderly man, and they're like, "Yes, of course she is." And writes herbalist, and it's one of the things that where you sign, but you get your fingerprints taken. It's a thumbprint. That's all. Like you're opening your phone, and you're allowed. And as he said before, these are good for going in and out of the city for 2 weeks. Though it's no problem getting another thing. It's just a way of keeping track of people. And through means you can get longer traveler visas, essentially, passports. And then you're allowed in the city. They do. Everyone in this room looks at Tune, but no one brings it up. And they look at the guard, and the guard looks back at it and is like, "It's fine." And they sort of leave it.
Melody pats one of the heads and smiles at him.
And you're allowed to leave when the paperwork's done and you receive a paper slip.
Right then, shall we go explore the amazingly beautiful city of Goldport?
Well, you know where we're going, don't you?
Yeah, okay. Let's go.
We don't need to go there straight away if...
I'll actually
Gil
point out you don't
wants,
know where to meet him.
Get ready.
He just said, "Meet me back in Goldport." More or less. There was no meeting place.
Gil's assumption would be his old home.
It's a good one.
But yeah, I think it'd be torn between getting it over with and procrastinating, because Goldport's such a fucking huge place.
Think about it this way. If we go see who we came to see now, we can go to the pub after. If we see him after, we've already been to the pub.
That doesn't say anything. Like an elf. Say a lot of words, no meaning in it.
Then we can go to the pub after as well.
So no, because you'll already be drunk then, and it will be spoiled by the experience and.
But then if I go to the pub first, all I'll be
You're thinking about it too much, Gil'win.
How long from here to where Gil needs to go?
So your family home is in the Silver District, in a fairly residential area. It's one of those things where it's afternoon. You can get there by the evening. You know, it'll be a couple of hours, maybe longer, depending on how much, you've not been here for a while, so it's that sort of thing.
Not too long. It'd take maybe the rest of the afternoon to get there.
Quite heavy rain at the moment. We could wait and warm up first? Go in the morning? it's Gil's decision.
I have to say, not going out in the rain for too long isn't a bad shout.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, that gives me an idea. Could we? Maybe we should buy some cloth for Toon's head, so it serves two purposes: keep him nice and warm, and kind of obscure the two-headedness.
You're trying to put a cloak on the dog.
Yes.
I'm fairly certain I would find that more strange than a dog with two heads.
Okay.
But why not? If you want to go and buy some cloth and drape it over Toon, only for him to throw it off and play with it, probably.
You get those little coats for dogs, don't you?
Well, elves, kind of more cat people. Especially in they get around in the city much better, what with the floating and dogs. I remember one of my friends sort of had a dog straight off the edge. It went. It didn't realize. It went off, and I mean it was okay because there was no magic, and he stopped it. But dog ownership was discouraged from that day.
That explains why a lot of elves are so insufferable.
Yes, I have to say they're kind of like cats in a way, aren't they? I think that's why we prefer them.
Anyway, I guess we should go to pub, avoid the rain if we can. I think you might be right. Drinks are on me for coming in.
Lovely.
Because remember, you
Champagne
guys
gold.
have a tasty amount of gold now. So, do you just go to like the first pub you see,
No.
or do you go
Let us-
to a
let us go
higher?
to- Let's at least go to the Silver District.
It's up to you guys.
If we go to the Bronze District, we'll be eating and drinking with other dangerous people like me. If we go to the Silver District, we'll be eating and drinking with people like Sid.
Let's go to the Bronze District.
Actually, yes. Now I think about that. Good point.
I so wanted to say that, but it would be completely out of character.
So you,
Actually, would I know any place specifically in the Bronze District?
the way I imagine it, Gil, you grew up in the Silver District, but you kind of went around all over. I imagine you were more comfortable in the Bronze District, and maybe even further, but I don't think you really went and hung out in the slums. So
Yeah.
I imagine you have a local place
Yeah.
in the Bronze District that you would have been like your childhood haunt, and feel free to describe it as much as you want if you want, or else leave it to me.
The
Did your dad let you go to the Bronze District as a child?
Probably not.
You're a
I know-
naughty boy.
I know it's raining right now, so the charm is kind of lost. But that place right there, the Glistening Toad, it always has this grimy, gross grime on its wood. And it looks quite cool when it's nice and dry. But unfortunately, because of the rain, it's kind of lost its effect. But it's okay in there.
Okay, that is unique. Let us go and try your pub then, shall we?
Yeah.
The tankards, I presume they do not also glisten with some horrible disease-ridden mold.
I don't know what is on the tankards.
Perhaps
It's been
I
a
will
while.
drink
They might have
something
swapped
a
them.
bit stronger than ale tonight.
We'll be alright. We've dealt with waste and mold.
All right, so you guys walk into the Glistening Toad Tavern to get out of the rain, and you do get out of the rain.
It is glistening in the rain, though.
It's literally glistening in the rain. It's kind of got his namesake a little more. You head into the Glistening Toad Tavern. It is in one of those taverns that's right at the front of the Bronze District, right near this main gate to Lich Vale. So it serves to travelers, but not necessarily merchant class. More just you guys, more travelers, straight up people who are traveling the world. It's a very big place. It's so big that there's this giant, almost graffiti-esque painting of a toad on one side of the walls. And it's got a lot of room inside, and a lot of room for vast platters of quite expensive food. You head in, you open up the door, you get out of the cold, and you see you're not the only people to have this idea. It is a very big tavern. It is nearly full. It is full of, at this time of day, other travelers, people from the Bronze District who are laughing and hanging out. It's the sort of place where there's like groups of people standing by tables where their friends are. There's a whole bunch of people playing card games. It's actually not that drunk yet, this room. It's mostly sort of just a happiness, not yet a rowdiness. It's actually not... It's a fancy land, you drink all the time. Because it's better to drink the water. But it's not quite drinking hour yet.
Melody immediately shrinks in on herself and sort of tries to huddle a little behind Gil.
Yeah, most of the people in this tavern is around a little stage that has some women dancing, which is one of the reasons why a lot of people are here. Their skirts are quite short.
Could we find a table, or is it fully packed?
You could find a small table for the three of you. If you go around, need to sort of squeeze past some people and stuff like that, and you find one, or you go to a barmaid and they're like, oh no, we can show you and that sort of thing.
That's how difficult it is squeezing around people when you like squeeze and then you slap that guy in the back of your head with the scabbard and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, and then you turn and like your other weapon slaps someone else in the face and
And there's definitely other people with like weapons just on them. Most of them are like sort of like not adventurous sort of travelers, but there are definitely other people who are adventurers in this tavern. That's not a surprise. Even like other adventuring parties of like 4 or 5 people of varying races that are sort of like hanging out and relaxing. It's actually quite a nice atmosphere to everyone but Melody, who will probably be fine when she sits down and has a drink in her.
Sits down, starts paying attention to tune, tries to ignore the amount of people around.
Do you want some food, Melody?
Yes. Food would be helpful. Relaxing, please.
Excellent. Bill?
What do they have?
Well, they've got...
This place has a lot of... This is a tavern. It doesn't actually have rooms for the night. It just has food and drink. Like,
I was about to say, variety. I appreciate that Neil takes this typical... I'm going to ask this random question that's going to side rail the DM. Ask it to a PC saying, I'm going to give Ollie a break. I'm just going to toss this one to Dean. And Dean goes, hot potato.
I'm okay with it. All of these sort of taverns, they have like... This is what we're doing today. But this is the sort of place where you go like, oh, can I get some bacon? Like, we always have bacon, You could say any of like the main meats and they would have it. Yeah, they have like a pantry. They have pies. You want like... Dean will tell you that the specialty here is fish pies and honey ham. Not at the same time. But those are the things that are like the best here. Like, that's what they're famous for.
They used to do glistening toad in the hole, but I guess they've stopped that.
Maybe it's on the secret menu.
Lloyd like to have glistening toad.
Toad in the hole is good.
Head through the curtains, please.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
Does Scott even know what it is? It's sausages in Yorkshire pudding batter. It's good shit. And gravy.
I'm not entirely sure what Yorkshire pudding batter is.
Pancakes, but like crispier and saltier.
Didn't we talk about this a few weeks ago?
Yes.
I just forgot the name. My apologies. So it's again, when I finally make my way to the UK, you have to put all of the food in my face.
It's the same way. It goes the same way for me.
Like, we're gonna give him some haggis, and I'll be like, okay.
Haggis is actually fine. Haggis is good shit.
I don't know. It's spelled weird.
It's spelled fine. It's
not. It's with an umlaut.
Haggis, right? That's a very normal looking English word.
what's an umlau? It's a dot dot, isn't it?
Umlau is
Yes.
the. Oh yeah, is the dot dots.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's not in American language. So
It was
making
that's
a
not how
joke.
you
It's not actually got an umlau.
oh,
So guys,
So, I shouldn't make fun. If you genuinely don't know that, then fair enough. But I just,
Don't make
sheep
fun of
belly
Scott. He
full
won't
of-
realize
full
it.
of poop. I'd try it. Whatever.
so what was it about me sidetracking the DM?
The people know. They come here for the tangents.
That's sidetracking the campaign, not the DM.
I did that because he grabbed his player's handbook, so I assumed he was going for the menu of the food.
I was going for the prices. The meals here would be anywhere between 3 silver and 5 silver. Depends if you get just like a meal or a meal and the trimmings, which you probably will.
Yes.
And also included would be some kind of drink. But then if you
I want the bargain.
You want the bargain bucket.
So sorry, I thought you were done. Please finish.
that was it.
Okay. I was gonna say, I want the bargain shopper to be like, 3 silver. I could buy like a pint of oil for that. We're going underground. I can't waste the money. I demand a discount.
That's very scum.
fancy the manager.
Yeah.
Yes, sounds good then. If they are able to cook all sorts of things, I rather fancy some form of roast fowl.
I think they do that here.
Just, not too much. Just something small.
And I'll gesture you over to a barmaid.
Yeah. They come over and take your order. What do you and Melody get?
Melody, do you fancy anything, or do you want to just eat what I eat?
Melody will have what Gil has.
Okay. I will have 2 fish pies, please.
Yep, they like. Well, absolutely. No, they'll be with you in some time. We're quite busy today, so but we'll get to you. Don't let us forget about you over here in the corner.
We'd like some drinks before.
Oh well, drinks we can get you much faster. What is it that you have a thirst for, Master Elf?
Ooh.
Do you have a little bit of brandy, perhaps?
We have brandy.
The dwarven kind?
I'll have to check.
Well, I'd pay a little bit extra if you are able to placate me.
She being a human in Goldport, incredibly racist place. Not that everyone's racist, just the culture is human based. So the fact that an elf is ordering dwarven drinks, you can tell that slightly boggles her, but she doesn't say anything about it. She's just like, okay, yeah, I'll check, and then you'll head out, and I assume you probably want water as well, or some simple ale.
Yeah.
She totally does manage to find you some dwarven brandy. That would be, let's say, 1 silver for, it's just like, it's an old bottle. You just buy the bottle.
Yeah, they just find some dusty bottle.
Yeah, exactly. It's a dusty bottle that totally isn't from the normal stock that they use, but they have, because this is a place that has, it serves many different people, many places, so they have a little bit of everything.
So there's 1 silver for it, was it?
1 silver for that, and then it'll be
give
5
him.
silver
I'll give
each
him
for
2 because I said I'd pay a little bit extra.
Time to derail. The word bottle sounds great in every accent. Ollie, say bottle.
bottle.
Ian, say bottle.
Uh-oh.
Neil, say bottle.
Bottle.
Scott, say bottle.
Bottle.
Oh, for some reason
It's
it sounds
satisfying.
so
I'm
good.
not gonna deny it.
Well, okay, right.
Weird
So,
tangent, but I'm okay with it.
Summary: Dean has a bottle fetish.
And with that, I think it's a great time to take our first break of the season. While they've got to give the barmaids some time to cook up those
We got
pies,
it.
right?
Nom nom.
I've
How
got to
many,
go
how many
find a bottle.
milliliters though, Dean? Or is
In a
this
bottle.
not? Is it any all sizes?
We'll be back in
all
about 5
sizes?
minutes.
1.5 litre bottles are